My name is Traill, and I'm one of the photographers exhibiting in the Arcadia show called Embodied Landscapes, which is part of Contact. Originally, I started out as a printmaker and a photographer. And as a printmaker, I used a lot of maps and map-like imagery to narrate and describe family history. Now I'm a graphic designer and a photographer. And I recently completed a Master of Design degree where I used maps and map-like imagery to describe a local downtown urban neighborhood. So maps and map-like imagery has always been an important part of my visual language. And I like the way that maps and map-like imagery can be used in various ways to describe our experience. The photographs in this show were shot around Lake Superior and Georgian Bay, and they're representative of the Canadian Shield, which is an icon for many of us as Canadians. The shots were shot very close up with a macro lens, and they were radically cropped in camera. So what we see is a very close-up, detailed view of the rock formation, and it's a micro view. But when we see them in a gallery, in a framed picture setting, they take on another level of meaning. They can also be seen as aerial landscapes, maybe shot from above. So they contain both a micro view and a macro view, and that's what I find really intriguing about these images. Normally I shoot with a digital camera, and I've been shooting with a digital camera for about 10 years, and I'm really happy doing that. What's interesting about these photographs are they come from the last roll of color print film that I ever shot before I went to digital. And when I was preparing for this show, I went through some old photographs and I found some 4x6 prints of these images, and I was struck by how much they look like maps. So using the color negatives for the show, I had to go through quite a process to get them made. There's not many places that will print directly from a color neg. The lab that I used took the color neg and scanned them to a file, and then they used a digital file to print on color photo paper. I like the four images and how they work together. I think they relate very well to each other visually. They're all very neutral in color, so there's no bright colors in them. They're mostly grays and earth tones, and there's also not a lot of contrast, so they're not high contrast images. They don't have a lot of black and white. The contrast is very subtle. There's a very close relationship to the tones, and I think that helps with the idea that they might be aerial map photographs. When I was working on these pieces for the show, it made me think back to my early printmaking days and some of the work done in and around Georgian Bay by Ed Bartram as a printmaker. I studied him in school. So I think that this work relates very much to his iconic work of the Canadian Shield.